Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach. Second take because I didn't hit record on the first one. I didn't get that far, just like 4 minutes in. But I wasn't even talking about the show. So anyway, yesterday I was able to binge the first 3 episodes of Andor season 2, and I was very excited because it's like I could do a real review. A couple days ago, I tried to watch the first episode. I got bogged down in some stuff that turned out to be incorrect. I thought the dumpy woman just kind of waving a sort of like tricorder around aimlessly. I thought she was an Imperial, and I thought her supervisor who saw her canoodling with Andor in like a cafeteria in the middle of the night and was like, "You go, girl." I thought that was an Imperial as well. And because they had a whole garrison there. I thought it was some sort of, but it was like a civilian weapons CNR manufacturer. It's like, okay, so that's a little bit different. So I decided to give it another chance, and I was just clipping along. I would knock out. I mean, not without breaks. I'd get little snacks and check my phone. But I mean, every like hour and a half, I was knocking out. I'd be like, it's still early, and then I was so happy. And then they launched 3 new ones last night. I thought I had more time. It didn't feel like it launched a week ago, but apparently it did. So anyway, this is just for the first 3 episodes, but I watched all of them, even the dancing. And here's the funny thing. The palace intrigue, that's where I stopped the first time. I saw a bunch of palace shit. I was like, I can't watch this shit. That was my favorite part. So the story is that Andor, that feels, I know there's Endor. I don't know. There's just, Andor doesn't feel like a person's name. It feels like a planet name. Andor steals a prototype fighter. Doesn't know how to fly it that well. Then there's a bunch of other stories. There's the palace intrigue story, which ended up being my favorite. There's a grain planet. No, it's not Rebel Moon. Where his wife and it seems like some of his friends from probably season 1 are there. And then some Imperials are coming down to... well, it's a 10-year inspection, but it's really like we're going to be here a lot more. And I think there's a 4. Oh, yeah. There's another one where, well, Andor is on a planet where he's supposed to hand over the ship. But that guy is gone, and another group that got basically stranded there is there, and they're fighting amongst themselves. First just arguing, and they actually, it's kind of like a Lord of the Flies type of situation. And all of them work. And yes, there's a rape in season 3, or an attempted rape. But it's totally, well, here's the deal. Everybody was wrong. There are people who just made it like it was very salacious. It wasn't. There are other people who were saying like, hey, this is just a trope, the bad guy tries to force himself on a woman. No, it's really, really brutal. Like, it's brutal. They don't get to the rape part of the rape, but he's trying to subdue her to do it. And that's, yeah, it's incredibly brutal. So I know people are making fun of that Star Wars guy for saying, like, this is too much for him. I understand what he's saying. Like, she's just getting beat down. It's not very Star Wars-y. So I understand it in that regard. That being said, we're all grown-ups and everybody knows what Andor is. It's the more serious take on war, dealing with like the realities of war, like finance. Like, how do you finance a rebellion? Well, you start up a fake charity, and then you just basically launder a bunch of money. So those little threads and the subtlety, and one of the things that I kept thinking about is one of, the birthday party clowns, but I see it from a lot of people. They'll say like, why is this here? This doesn't do anything. This is unnecessary. Nobody asked for it. But I mean, as far as, and I haven't seen all the recent Star Wars stuff. By the way, sidebar. The main thing, right, is like, everything flop. It didn't chart. It's not in the top 10. Okay, so let's just say that nothing woke ever happened in Star Wars ever. And Marvel. You still think on the 36th movie it's going to be as special and magical and groundbreaking? No, it's going to attenuate. Everything attenuates. But anyway, You always get this like, this is unnecessary. This doesn't make sense. Why is there a rave in Star Wars? And I've never seen a script that knew what it was in such a way as the scripts for Andor. Like everything has a point. The Lord of the Flies, band, which I think they're going to end up getting used by that blonde Imperial officer. Yeah, she's an Imperial officer. She had a uniform. They're trying to show, the infighting of rebels. There's some real, just like subtle, just human stuff with the, like I said, my favorite part was the palace intrigue. Of just a guy, a friend of Mon Mothma, and he's just like, hey man, this is like, I'm hurting financially. Like, why do I have to pay? Y'all are dancing. Y'all are throwing multiple, and the other thing, like, why does it have to be a multiple day wedding festival? Well, because that's one of the reasons that the guy with the white hair, who was in Speed Racer, that's one of the reasons he's so fucking pissed. He's like, my wife left me, my business, my stocks, everything's hurting, and you guys are funding a 3-day wedding festival with a goddamn rave. He's like, when am I going to wet my beak? So he basically starts, blackmailing Mon Mothma. Also, this is a real tangent sidebar. Stellan Skarsgård, he always makes me, in this role, he makes me think of Himon from New Gods. Anyway, getting back to it. So, like, every story has a point, which is just like classic, solid storytelling. One of the things I also liked is there was no babying. There was none of like people walking up to someone. It's like, hey, do you remember the time you did this? And it's just some cheap exposition. Like I think they're like, these people have phones. They're smart. So, I don't know everything, but I can tell who's friends with someone, who's kind of connected to someone. I knew that Bix, I knew that she was, I think, the wife of Andor. I knew that from, like, social media. But even the stuff with, like, the rape, it was done in a very well-written... It wasn't like some giant hulking brute. It was like a lonely officer at some wheat planet thing. It's like, oh, she's probably going to, she's going to like me. I'm an officer, And then she's just like, nope. And he keeps kind of escalating things, but they're kind of subtle until you understand what I say. It's not just, and I saw there was a debate of like whether Darth Vader would allow this. Like that was actually dumb because although it makes me think of my favorite thought experiment, which is not, I didn't create this. It was a Reddit thread, and it said, what would happen if a stormtrooper on the Death Star said good morning to Darth Vader while he was, walking down the hallway? And the initial one is like, Darth Vader would grab him and force choke him and throw him and but then once you start talking about it and you kind of look at how Darth Vader, the very different way he interacts with the enlisted, essentially, the stormtroopers and officers, you go like, he might actually say good morning back. Now, he might just silently walk by, but there's like 0% chance he's going to choke. Now, in the comics, he does that. In the extended universe, he does that. But if you want to look at the live action Vader, notice the stormtroopers are not afraid of him. They won't even report failures to him. They're like, hey, sir, it didn't happen. He's like, try harder. Go over there. He's not killing them. So I think if a stormtrooper respectfully said, good morning, Lord Vader, he'd probably just ignore him, maybe nod, maybe if things like went really well. But there's also this thing like Star Wars guy is supposed to be like this, Star Wars expert. Vader he just has like one unit he's in charge of. He's not in charge of the entire empire. Like, you know what I mean? I see it as two ways. Number one, the empire doesn't see themselves as the bad guys. Number two, something like a rape would be considered, like nobody would be like, that's just officers being officers. They'd be like, you're an officer. Like, you're supposed to be disciplined. Like, what the hell is that? and you got beat up by the woman, and it wasn't girl boss. It was good. This is a rebel. She's got fight training. Officer. He mainly writes a bunch of reports, and but yeah, it went on for a long time, and it was brutal. But that's the point of this show, is that it's supposed to be the non-adventurous side of war. But yeah, like I kept thinking about those phrases like, this doesn't make sense, nobody wants this, why is this here? I've never seen, like when I heard like it's like a 3-day wedding festival, it's like, oh my God, I don't want to sit through that. All of it. It's not a wedding, it's a wedding festival. It's multiple days. So you're getting a lot of scenes that are all entertaining and driving the narrative forward, as they say. But also, the other thing I liked about this, and again, I haven't seen all the Disney Star Wars stuff, is it seems there's just like I'm gonna press, I'm gonna wait. There's a little button, and I'm gonna put a key in it, and I'm gonna pull a console out, and then I'm gonna put like a some sort of audio visual jack, and I'm gonna plug that in, and I'm gonna adjust the gain. I really like stuff like that. I like that aspect of sci-fi where it's just, some wood and plastic console that was painted like the day before, but they obviously had a little talk, like, how does this thing work? I don't know. I just like them just adjusting it, So there's a lot of scenes of just hands just adjusting, consoles and components. There's also just a fun little bit where they've got they have 2 spaceships. One is, I think one was from, I don't know if it was from the guy Andor was supposed to meet, or it was just there, or it was the Lord of the Flies group. So you have like a derelict ship, and then you got an experimental ship. But the experimental ship is stuck in the mud, So then, but it's got some great cannons that only face forward. So they're literally like turning it like every hour, just a couple of degrees, so it can eventually fire at the other ship. There were some reasons that they had to stay in their ships. They didn't sell that perfectly. They really needed to sell, like, we need to stay near our ships and we can't just go rush them, because eventually they do. But yeah, good stuff. I didn't see. I saw some goo eyes from 2 female characters. I'm like, oh God. But then I'm also like, oh, they're from Andor season 1, which came out when like every show had to. Yeah, have you noticed there's tons of shows right now that have 0 lesbians? Bro, go watch Gotham season 5. Every single woman is gay. It's crazy. It's a clean sweep. But overall, I liked it. There was, I really like missiles. I like missiles in Star Wars. Blasters are fine, but at one point, Andor's like bearing down, and he just, it actually felt kind of rude how close he was when he released the missile. Because, they're just expecting some blast. They're like, maybe they'll miss this, maybe. And then it's just like, no. That was a guided missile. You're done. There also was an Imperial that I'm not familiar with, which seems to be just like a basic grunt who doesn't even have armor. He's just got, like a olive drab uniform. Just stuff like that. Just like the Star Wars-y hats and stuff like that. I gotta say, though, I know, how do I say this? Stormtroopers in the original trilogy and the ones they have now, even though technically it's the same armor, it looks different. I think they're making it from like a different plastic, like technically it's correct, but if you go and watch, like especially A New Hope, like, yeah, they look different. I think it's different plastics and things like that. Different, they got the black undergarments, but I liked it. I was gonna say I liked it a lot. I liked it enough. It was the way it's written. Just everything just kind of flows, So even if you're having like the admin guy dinner party with his mom, it's like it's kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of like weird character. Like, see where this is going. And nothing's too long. Clips along quite well. And I don't know, he cracked the code for binging for me because I can't binge. I mean, I think I watched 2 episodes of Daredevil a couple weeks ago in one day. Not even one night. I think it was like one day, and that was amazing. And I just knocked out. Actually, I could have watched episode 4. I didn't have time to watch episodes 4 through 6. Um, but good stuff. Good writing. I just liked how things looked. I liked the little consoles and the pistols. I didn't see any woke stuff. The funniest thing is at one point you're like, oh God, is this going to be like the girl boss gang? And then she just gets shot point blank. And then the Lord of the Flies group starts fighting. So, and even like when Andor's wife or fiance, she kills that officer. It is not a girl boss moment. You're just like, oh God, all this is horrible. It's not luck. It's, she's a little bit better fighter. But man, he's got, man strength and he's just tossing it around. He's not even in good shape. But yeah, it's a good show. Sorry, I forgot this is YouTube. Woke, wokety D, I melt. Oh God, I feel like an idiot doing that. How do these people do this like all day long every day? Yeah, I know they make good money from it. No, they make money from it. It's not good money. It's a lot of money, but it's not good money. Just being a shithead. Somebody in the comments, they made a brilliant point. They're like, most of these guys aren't even right-wing. They just play for a right-wing audience, and they're just like, woke, Disney hates you, Disney killed you. What the hell? I feel stupid doing that for 5 seconds as a parody. Can't imagine doing that like as my job. Just like, they changed the strawberry shortcake. She has different backpack now. They hate you. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.